Hello everyone and welcome to the Morning Brew. Today we are joined by Pastor Robin Jacoto, our fantastic Port Perry site pastor. Robin, good to see you.
Good to see you, Brandon. It's always great to be here and nice to see you online as well.
Absolutely. Robin, I think the last time you joined in for online was midsummer. We were talking about Summer Together events happening. I know Port Perry's done so many different community events, days in the park throughout the summer, but now we're getting into the fall. And before we go too deep into other conversations and fun stuff today, tell us what's happening at Port Perry. Give us a little update about Port Perry into this brand new season at Sanctus Church.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a new season. I mean, summer was very full. It was wonderful. I know a lot of families were traveling in cottages, and the fall is really nice to kind of come back together as a whole church community. And we have a lot of amazing opportunities to grow in our discipleship. So this coming Monday, that's September 23rd, we have a women's event kind of relaunching our women's ministry with some new vision, some new leadership, some new ideas. That's going to be incredible for all the women who just really want to grow in their discipleship. They want to grow in their Bible study. They want to grow in getting to know people, women who are older than you, women who are younger than you, women who are in the same season of life as you. So I think that's going to be really helpful. We're also going to have a men's breakfast. And we just have a ton of really amazing opportunities. If you go to the website, you can see a whole bunch of things happening in Port Perry.
That's amazing. I was looking at the church website the other day, just, preparing my emails and looking at what's going on. And it's insane, the amount of things that are happening at the church across the fall. When you multiply it by 5 different sites, right? Like even one site alone is, you go, wow, there's a lot of stuff to do here. But then you multiply it by everything that Sanctus is doing. And this is just like, you could go every day to church and there'd be something to do.
And I'm so thankful for that because I remember, lockdown, no one wants to talk about that, but I remember lockdown when it's like, we couldn't see people in person, we couldn't do these types of things. And it's just great to be able to get together, and there's so many opportunities, like you said, whether it's a daytime or an evening thing or a weekend thing, there's really so many opportunities to get to know people and to sort of grow in your relationship and also learn some very real skills. So I'm excited about some of the things that are coming up. I think we're doing some new things as a church. We're doing things a little bit differently, and we're hopeful that that's going to bring in not just our normal Sanctus people, but also others to kind of create space to invite other people and to really just expand who the Lord can reach through our community.
Absolutely. And I think the great thing about these things is we're building community, like you said, not just within our own local Sanctus Church community, but people are coming in now from all over the place. Like we have the finance course happening online, and I think we're at like almost 60 registrations.
Oh, incredible.
And a lot of these are people that have been, because we've done a little bit of advertising, things are happening at the church. People that are not connected to Sanctus are now being connected to our church, getting to build relationship with some of the pastors, other people that just attend Sanctus. And it's an incredible thing to see the Lord working in these ways.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a good reminder too that God cares about everything about our lives. He doesn't just care when you're worshiping with your hands lifted or when you're opening your Bible, but every detail of your life, you can bring the Lord into it. So I know finances, it's definitely a topic and an issue that many are struggling with. So I'm really excited that as a church, we can sort of support people and see how God can, help us in that area of our lives as well.
Absolutely. Hey, I think it's time that we have a little bit of fun together. Now, I was listening to a podcast this past week, and they had this great game that I replicated a little bit, where it's going to look at Bible verses and just general nice sounding wisdom from ChatGPT. So
I'm nervous.
It's going to be a good one. And you can play along at home. So the idea is I'm going to read something, and it's either going to be some sort of wisdom that King Solomon has given to us, or it's going to be just a general thing from ChatGPT, and we have to guess which is which. We're going to do 5 rounds of this.
I'll be a good team player. I will play the game. Please join me. Don't let me do this alone so I don't embarrass myself all by myself here. Let's do this. Pastor Brandon.
So here's the first one. Even a fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is considered prudent.
This is King Solomon. This is in the Bible.
Oh yeah, lock it in?
Yes, and I was going to say Proverbs. I don't know if it was 17, but okay, there we go.
Amazing.
We got one, guys. Are you with me? Cheer, let's do this.
One for one. That's 100%
one
right
for
accuracy.
one. I think we should end the game right now. We did it, guys. We succeeded.
Here's number 2. Let your heart be steadfast, for in the face of adversity, you find strength.
I mean, it could be, it's hard with like different Bible translations, like the way that you learn scripture.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's say this is in the Bible. It may not be, but let's say this is.
Let's see.
Oh, ChatGPT. Oh, they knew. Oh, that was close. Okay.
That's a 50% answer.
Okay, guys, we're going down pretty quickly here.
Let us know at home too as you're playing in the chat if you're playing along.
Yes, let us know your scoring, and hopefully you're doing better than I am.
Here's number 3. Better is a dish of vegetables where love is than a fattened ox served with hatred.
This is in the Bible.
Bible, let's see it. King Solomon's wisdom, Proverbs 15.
You gotta love some of those verses though. I mean, come on, if you just take that one verse, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I wonder what you were thinking when this came about.
Yeah, okay, good. So now we're at what? Two for three.
Two for, yeah. Walk with kindness and let your words be gentle, for in encouraging others, so shall you be encouraged.
So this sounds like the Bible, but I don't think there's a specific verse like that. Again, this could be like a translation issue, but I'm going to say this is a robot who did this.
Let's see.
A very smart robot. Yes.
ChatGPT.
Thank you, Lord. They were tricking us. Like some of that was almost biblical.
Yeah.
It was
It's
almost
very close.
scriptural. These
Very
robots, I
close.
tell you. Okay.
We got one more.
Oh.
Your teeth are like a flock of newly shorn ewes,
Yep.
which have come up from their washing, all of which bear twins, and not one of them amongst them has lost her young.
And what a compliment this would be.
Oh.
I mean, maybe if you're dating somebody, this
Lovely.
is a compliment you can give somebody, like your teeth are like a flock of newly shorn ewes. Okay, this is in the Bible, and this is in Song of Solomon.
Let's see it. Song of Solomon 4:2.
There are some very interesting complimentary words in there that they don't exactly translate to 2024, but...
Now, I wonder if you were using this language with your spouse on the regular, right? This might be something where you're going to say, hey, we actually have to go to the marriage conference happening at the church November 1st and 2nd.
Seriously.
Because the one may go, oh, I love you. Like, I'm saying all these nice things to you.
Yeah.
But, the wife goes, what are you saying? This is crazy. I'm like a flock of ewes. Are you crazy? It's so funny how the times change. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for playing along.
Good, and I hope you guys got 100%. Some of you, online, tell us if you got 100%. I'm sure you did, and your prize will be coming one way or the other to you.
That's right. The prize is knowing that the joy of the Lord is your strength. Well, Robin, I want to talk to you a little bit deeper today about something we announced in church today. At the end of the service, we mentioned that we are doing a missions trip to go and visit and support one of our global partners, Ginger Connection, in Uganda.
Yes.
Now, the missions trip is such a big thing to think about. I remember when I was in youth, people would go on missions trips, and I haven't gone on one personally, but just, seeing what, the fundraising and preparing and all the things that go into missions trips.
Yeah.
Now, our church hasn't been able to do one in the past couple of years because, we had the pandemic and all these different factors, but we're so excited today to announce that we are going back to Ginger Connection.
Yes.
It's going to be happening into the new year. So I know a few things are still getting worked out, exact dates, travel things, all those things. But I want to just talk to you as someone that, missions is dear to your heart. I know you have been on trips in the past. Your husband, Jervis, as well, has been on that in the past. And you work so closely with our local and global partners here at the church. So I want to just hear, first of all, why is missions so impactful to yourself? Because we want to encourage people as they're listening and maybe considering and praying, is this something that I should do in this season? Just share your heart around missions for us if you would.
I mean, how much time do we have? I have so much passion around this. This is one of those pieces where I'm just like, Jesus, this is on Jesus's heart. And when we get to come alongside him, like I love, there's this book on mission, and it just talks about how God is a missional God. Like sometimes we think I'm going on a mission to this country, but really God is on mission. He has been on mission from day one. And we get to come alongside him. He invites us into his missional work on the earth. And it's such a privilege that he uses us. I mean, we are human beings with flaws. We're not perfect, but when you actually allow yourself to be used by him and you go on these missions with him, there's just such incredible testimonies that come out of it, of how he activates other gifts, how he moves, how there are miracles, there's testimonies, and you just grow in your faith in a way that nothing else can really compare. When you go on a mission trip, it might be a week or 10 days, but it's like you'll grow in those 10 days more than you have maybe in the last 10 years in your walk. It's this really intensive opportunity. But I love Ginger Connection. They are doing incredible work in Uganda. And I mean, what they're focusing on is street children, primarily, kids who are at risk, kids who are on the street. And this is on Jesus's heart. Like he talks about the fact that God puts the solitary into homes. Like God doesn't want people to be on their own, to be solitary, to be homeless, to be on the street. He actually wants to settle them into homes. And this is the heart of Ginger Connection. They don't want to see kids on the street getting into crime, begging, getting into drugs, getting into other very harmful things, because they don't have that safety and security of a loving, stable family. And so they provide very practical support to these kids. Kids can come and have a meal, they can come and have a bath, they can, they teach them specific skills. They also teach them from the Bible and discipleship. They also have counselors who are doing therapy with these kids. And then ultimately the goal is that they will be resettled into homes, because again, this is the biblical mandate. And what we see is that it's never ideal for someone to live their whole life in an orphanage, for example. There's just something about the home. God created us in homes. Every person is born from a man and a woman coming together, and that's how you're born. And ideally, you can live and grow up in a stable family home like you have. Not everybody has that privilege, but ultimately, God is trying to resettle people into homes where they can be safe, they can be loved, and they can have a better hope and a better future. So what they do at Ginger Connection is, apart from providing those very physical, practical needs, which are very important, they also do research. They go into people's villages and homes, and if they can't resettle them with their parents, sometimes maybe one has died, maybe there's been separation, maybe there's drug addictions, maybe there's other issues there, they try to find other family members. Maybe there's an aunt who, is able physically, emotionally, spiritually to take this child in and raise that child as their own. And so they do a lot of research, they do a lot of social work, and then even when they resettle these kids into homes, they do a lot of follow-up, they check on them, how are they doing in school, how are they doing physically, how are they doing emotionally. So it's really beautiful. I'm so excited that we get to take a team to Uganda next March 2025. It's going to be a life-changing experience where we can really see firsthand how God is moving, and we can come alongside our partners. At Sanctus, what we say about partnership is, we are not the experts, right? You are not the expert in homelessness in Uganda.
Of course.
So, if I just send you tomorrow to a foreign country and I'm like, Brandon, go work on something there, you're not going to be able to accomplish very much because you don't know the language, the context, you're not going to be there in the long term. But we partner with organizations who are there for the long run, right? So Ginger Connection, it's run by a local man in Uganda, and he's living there. This is the language he speaks. This is his culture, his people, and he's the expert at this. So we come alongside him, and we don't say, hey, I want to do this and this. We say, how can we help you? How can we serve you? So we've already been having conversations with Patrick and the team to see how can we come alongside them and support the work that they're doing? How can we be a blessing to the kids, to their staff there? And then how can we also be encouraged so that when we come back as a team, we can share with our communities here what it means to live missionally back in Canada.
Amazing. That sounds so good, Robbie. You can tell how excited you are just in a few minutes hearing all about missions. And I think it's the whole thing is fantastic. Now, this is something that obviously takes a lot of prompting. There's a lot of prayer has to go with it. There's fundraising. There's a lot of things that happen. You don't just snap your fingers and say, okay, I'm going to join the team.
Right.
Let's go. So as someone is considering, hey, is this something that I'm going to make a commitment towards, to working towards, looking towards in March of next year, what kind of candidate are we looking for to being a part of this? And how would you help someone prepare to really consider, is this something that is for now? Maybe is it for me down the road? Right. How does someone get involved in something like this?
That's a great question. And what I would say is I would love for everybody to do at least one mission trip. There's some people who've grown up in the church for decades and they've never been to other countries, or they've never been to a country where they don't speak the language. I think there's so many benefits to doing that. Obviously, I lived in West Africa for 7 years, so I have seen the benefit of just having that intercultural experience and seeing how God moves in different cultures, because ultimately that is the future. Diversity today isn't just a human earth thing. When we get to heaven, we're going to see people of all tribes, of all tongues are going to be represented in heaven. So everybody should do a mission trip. But I love that you talked about prayer, because I would say the most important thing is really prayer. You have to discern the timing, right? Because everybody should do a missions trip, yes, but is this the year for you? Is this the time for you? Is this the partner for you? May or may not be the case. So I would definitely encourage you to pray. And then we do have this QR code and we have a form there. So we're encouraging, if you have any kind of interest in this, please fill that form, and then I'm going to be in touch with you, because there's a number of ways you can get involved. Some people will go on the team. Some people will fill out the application form, out of this link later on. They'll actually apply, we'll interview, and they'll be selected on the team. team. But then there's going to be another team who is the team here. Those people aren't going to go to Uganda March 2025, but they're going to be here praying for the team. They're going to be here helping us with events, helping us with fundraising, doing all kinds of really important work. And when we talk about missions, what I like to say, and what many people have said before, is that if you can't go, send. You know, not everybody can go. We're looking at a team of maybe 8 to 10 people. Not everybody from our church can go, but if you can't go, or maybe you have specific health reasons or family reasons or work reasons why you can't go this March 2025, but if you can't go, send. With your money, with your prayers, with your encouragement. There's a lot of different ways to get involved. So as a whole church, we're going to be sharing a lot about this specific partner and then different opportunities between now and the 6 months for how you can get involved missionally.
Amazing. Well, hey, as we get closer to March 2025, I know there's going to be more announcements. There's going to be a lot more media helping people just, you know, learn more about the trip, learn more about the partner and how they can get involved. But again, if you have any questions, please reach out to Pastor Robin anytime. We have the QR code that again is available on our website or on the screen right there. And we just want to, you know, we're praying alongside you. If this is something that the Lord is prompting you to be a part of, you know, just say that yes. There's so much that the Lord will do through this trip, and we're excited for that.
Yes.
Pastor Robin, thank you for being with us today. It's always great to catch up, hear about what's going on in your ministry. And until next week, the Morning Brew is brewed to inspire, served to equip, and we'll see you next week here on the Morning Brew. Take care.